Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, there's a lot of chatter lately about Joe Biden's position in the Democrat Party. We've been covering all of the stories of Democrats publicly telling him that he should step down and not run in 2024. I mean, they're done with the guy. But the question that I have for Democrats is, it's kind of like that old saying, you made your bed, now you gotta sleep in it. The bed is Joe Biden. And what I think these short-sighted Democrats don't realize is that they have no other option. Not only is it a bad idea to challenge your incumbent or to get rid of the electoral advantage that is incumbency, but what are your options? Right now, the only option that Democrats have, the only real option, is Kamala Harris. Or of course Hillary Clinton, but more realistically Kamala Harris. She is at the top of all primary polls. The second name that we always hear is Pete Buttigieg, but he's honestly not even close. The number two clear winner, clear option for the Democrats is Kamala Harris. And we already know how much of a blunder that would be. We know where the numbers are at in terms of hypothetical matchups 2024. Kamala Harris losing to Donald Trump by over 10 points on the average. Of course, because not only does Kamala Harris have a terrible track record as a politician before she became vice president of the United States, but she's also the least popular vice president and the biggest disaster to ever occupy that VP role. And let's add another list of embarrassments for Kamala Harris. Get this, folks, another PR blunder for the VP. Kamala Harris was putting together a fundraising event and she had to cancel it because she just wasn't selling any tickets. And this is the Democrats' bright future, next rising star, vice president of the United States, second most popular Democrat, can't even put a basic fundraising event together. Folks, we have got some stuff to get into. Let's roll the tape. Take a look at this headline right over here. Ouch. Kamala Harris event canceled after low ticket sales. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are two of the most unpopular politicians in the United States, and if anyone needed more proof, we have it. A DNC Women's Leadership Forum fundraiser featuring Vice President Kamala Harris has had to be postponed as ticket sales were slow, Status Quo News reports. The event was rescheduled last minute for the autumn, when the event is traditionally held, after the event couldn't sell enough tickets, it said. When the invites were sent out on May 5th, it was hyped as an incredible opportunity to mingle in person after 2 years of virtual events and meetings. Ticket prices range from $250 to $50,000, according to the report, which is pretty typical for these fancy schmancy events with all of these billionaires looking to gain influence with influential politicians. DNC spokesperson Daniel Wessel is on record claiming that Kamala Harris is a huge draw for events, but did not give a reason why the event was rescheduled. Rumors are flying that some of President Joe Biden's allies have at least looked into the idea of replacing Vice President Kamala Harris. In a scathing piece from the New York Magazine titled, "There has to be a backup plan," there's a backup plan, right? Inside the 2024 soul searching that's happening in every corner of the Democrat Party, author Gabriel Debedenetti discusses how Democrats are facing a reckoning. Debedenetti notes that there seems to be a major divide between Biden and his allies on one side and Harris and her loyalists on the other. Well, according to these ticket sales, it seems as though Kamala Harris has no loyalists, and even looking at her office, at her staff, the people that are closest to her, I mean, they have fled like none other. The mass exodus of Kamala Harris's office. The only original thing that remains is probably Kamala Harris's stapler. Everyone else from the original team has fled. With Trumpism reascendant, ambivalence about Biden's age and political standing is fueling skepticism, just as the image of his understudy, Vice President Kamala Harris, dips even further than his. The most recent analysis from the Los Angeles Times has her net approval rating at negative 11. The result is a bizarre disconnect within the Democrat Party, with two factions talking past each other. Poor Kamala Harris had started off so positive.
We did it, Joe.
And now it seems as though attaching your name or your political brand to the Joe Biden administration, the Biden regime, amounts to one thing, and that's career suicide. And for Kamala Harris, this is more real than anyone else. I mean, it's not to say that Kamala Harris isn't to blame for her own failures, of course she is, but I'm sure she probably had real high hopes for being the number 2 in command, the Vice President of the United States, and it's probably all amounted into Kamala Harris being one of the least popular politicians in American politics, politics, and now being viewed as an unelectable figure. So unelectable, so unlikable, she can't even sell enough tickets to do a basic event. I mean, to put it into perspective, to add some context, extremely unpopular, totally unelectable Elizabeth Warren does these kind of fancy wine and cheese events constantly, but Kamala can't. And there's probably a reason. I mean, one reason is obviously that she's a failing political brand, but the other reason is torture. People don't want to subject themselves to the undeniable torture that is a Kamala Harris public event. Whether it's Kamala Harris being completely incoherent.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Whether it's the talking down, I mean, Kamala Harris speaking to adult audiences as if they're a group of 5-year-olds.
Governor Hochul, where is she? There you are. Hello, Governor. Thank you for welcoming me. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, thank you. And then, of course, the Speaker and Senate Leader Stewart Cousins, where is she? There you are. Thank you. It's good to see you all.
Which, of course, conservatives are having a field day with this one. Here's a satirical piece from Stu Does America at The Blaze, the latest installment of Veep Thoughts. Of course, a play on words of deep thoughts from Vice President Kamala Harris.
Veep Thoughts by Kamala Harris.
Because think about it, yellow school buses are our nation's largest form of mass transit. How about that? Every day. So yes, and let's applaud because it gets them where they need to go. And every day, then think about this in terms of the numbers. Every day in our country, more than 25 million children ride to and from school on our nation's fleet of school buses. Every day.
Nobody wants to be talked to as if they're 5 years old, and more importantly, nobody's getting anything out of a public event with Kamala Harris. Speaking of deep thoughts, like I always say, folks, every Kamala Harris public event or speech, you leave less informed and dumber than when you came in.
Which is why we will work together and continue to work together. And to work together as we continue to work, and I know we will work on this together.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time. Right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
What I think we are witnessing is a serious reckoning for the Democrat Party, and honestly the end of many of these Democrat staples' careers. I think after 2020, but more importantly, from 2020 to 2022, with Joe Biden's first disastrous term in the White House, we are seeing these Democrat staples, these Democrat heroes, fall one by one, becoming some of the least popular politicians and, frankly, least popular and least favorable people in America, period. Nobody wants anything to do with these people, and that goes from Republicans, independents, even Democrat voters themselves, and basically all the way up to even Kamala Harris's own staff and Joe Biden's own staff, as they all jump off the sinking ship that is the Biden regime. Nobody wants anything to do with these political fossils and these empty suit Democrat politicians. It's a new political age, folks. And here's your weekly reminder that Donald Trump remains the most popular, relevant political figure in America. The numbers don't lie, folks. Take a look at favorability ratings. Donald Trump is number one. And speaking of presidential contenders, Kamala Harris is 4 points lower than deeply unpopular, least popular president in modern American history, Joe Biden. That, of course, speaks volumes. But that is also what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.